Fan of the Witch's Road. Yeah. I honestly don't know if you can hear me right now. Doing this with YouTube still open. Gonna watch something a little bit later that I was able to watch, but this is my thing of the Witch's Road, number 4, or otherwise known as Agatha, the 4th episode of Agatha All Along. I will say, eh, I wish I could tell if the audio was working. Can't now. But I will say, if it is working, I love this episode so much. But I love the previous one even better. Nothing can touch episode 3 of Agatha All Along. It was amazing. Just so you know, I watched it in between 7 and 10 times. Episode 3. Yep. Of Agatha All Along. This episode, really great. It has the clothing that they should have had in episode 1 or 2. I love the clothing for episode 3, but I not as much uh, as episode 4. The clothing, episode 4, amazing. But still, I'd say for normal attire, I'd say episode number 3 has the best clothes. Yeah. But for coolness, definitely this episode. I will say, I was really surprised that they had the, the, what's her name? The one from That 70s Show and WandaVision. I was surprised they had her in there for a little bit of episode 4. Really interesting. And yes, I know that it was because they needed to show that for the part where they were like, "Oh no, is it you? Is it a zombie? Did we bring back a zombie?" But yeah, that was just a funny. I loved it. Yeah. So, I will say the music great, the outfits great. The episode kind of reminded me of a couple things. Number one, kind of reminded me of a little bit of Supernatural and a little bit of the what is that one with the witches? What was that one? They were in the something and the witch's ghost. Scooby Doo and the witch's ghost. Something sisters, the Vixen sisters, or the Hex Girls. Yes, the Hex Girls. It reminded me of a combination of the Hex Girls, Scooby Doo, and the Witch's Ghost. It reminded me of, like I said, Supernatural, and a tiny bit of the Sabrina TV show. Yeah, the remake, a little bit, but just really, really. Eh, I would say if I had to rank it, I would say, hmm, I would say number 3 was my favorite episode. This one, my second favorite. And I believe that her ex lover, Agatha's ex lover, is lying to her because I just feel that it is her son. Agatha knows it. And we all know that the bond of a mother and son cannot be broken, you know? Well, unless, never mind, we don't want to get into that. But I truly feel that, you know, technically it would have to be the dark magic, like the one lady that wants her, to, but I'm just saying, I really feel that it is her son. And she knows it. She even said you don't need to know somebody's name to know who they are, you know. But really good episode. But I don't know. I mean, I still say episode 3 is my favorite. You know, this one, second favorite, but barely tying. Barely, just barely my second favorite. But yeah, well, yeah, tying, I'd say it's barely a little inch away from the first episode as my second favorite. So I guess, mm, if I had to, no, 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 no. Okay, okay. I'd say this episode, episode 4, is definitely my second favorite episode. Well, yep, yep. Well, it's tied with episode 1. Episode 2, definitely not my favorite. Episode 3, my number 1 favorite. So in number 1 slot, we got episode 3. For the second slot, we got it's a tie with, well, only because of the ending. Horrible ending. She didn't need to tell her it was not her son. So I'd say if they did not include that, like 10 seconds, it would have been worth it. It would have definitely been my second favorite episode. But, without no ties. But that just last 10 seconds, made it tie with episode 1 as my favorite. Yep. So, and number 3, or the worst slot for the episode, has to go to episode number 2. But yeah, so episode 1 and 3, well, actually, episode number 4 and 1 are tied as my second favorite, only because of the last 10 seconds of episode 4. But so without the last 10 seconds, it would have been my definite second favorite episode, with episode 3 still being my favorite. I mean, even Agatha understood that when she was, that when the lady from that '70s show was having her issue, like they all did in the other ones, like in the episode when they all had their hallucinations. Agatha recognized that it was from from that episode of WandaVision, you know? So you saw Agatha recognize that. So just saying it, and yeah, I still feel that she will come back later on in the season, to that lady from that '70s show, because I mean, it's the ones that die in on the road, they're always trapped there. So she's bound to come back some way or another. So yeah, sadly, the fate of that lady is she will forever walk the road since she died on the road. So when you die in the road, you're trapped in that thing, just like the soul still. You're trapped in it. So it's possible we could get a spin-off series of that actress, maybe a one season of what she's going through on the road, you know? So, like, after she died, it's possible they could do it. And heck, they could even bring it back in like a thing they could even bring it back for like a thing they did for that one Agent Carlson when he was they brought him back for this little thing of Thor's hammer, you know, that little adventure. They could do that for her. And they also did something similar with the one thing, uh, that one, the other actor. But so I'm just saying it could, they could bring her back, and I really feel they should because she's trapped in but still they could. I hope they bring her back for like a future character for like, like maybe the thing helps her get out of the road in exchange for being one of those evil witches that we see in the opening credits of that episode. You know, so because in episode 3 they showed evil witches and even the face, and I thought the face could have looked like a different, like if she would have been evil. You know, so just saying, hopefully they do that. Otherwise, bring her back in a series or episode or mini movie of her walking the road, in by herself since he's trapped in the road now, since he's trapped on the road, since she died on the road. Yes, because kind of opened up the thing too. Like, since we find out that most of the witches did not survive on the road, so she could meet up with the other witches that did not die, and they could have to do the road travels again, you know, all together to get back to the land of the living. So it'd be interesting if they brought back all the previous witches that Agatha brought to their fate, just so she could get to the road the first time. The end. Because in this episode they let us know that all except one witch made it. Sorry, yeah, sorry, that they all died except one witch. So since the lady from that '70s show is one witch, it makes a complete coven if, you know, but, but then there's the other interesting part that's really, really good, but I'll say that for a separate video, but that's not part of this episode. But yeah, so yeah, I'm just really, so yeah, I said my ranking and I'll stick by it. And like I said, if only they had not included that last 10 seconds of her telling Agatha it's not her, that he's not her son, it would have been my second favorite episode, no doubt. But because they included that last 10 seconds that killed Agatha, you know, it's my second favorite is tied, that one. This episode 4, is tied as my second favorite with episode 1. Whereas my number one favorite, is still episode 3 of Agatha All Along. Yep. So that's my ranking. That's my review. And I don't know. Last thoughts is I feel we may get her mother back, the one actress, the one that wrote or sang the what's her name? The mother of the one that has the scar, or started out with a scar on her shoulder. I feel she's gonna play a more important part. Yeah. Um, but yeah. Second to last, or last comments on it. I really loved the scene where we were made to think that it was that the what's her name was coming back as a zombie, and they were all freaking out. And they're like, "Hey, she came back as a zombie. Why is why is the prince so small?" Yeah. What can I say? Mm, after AJ suggested reciting things, I said I couldn't do impressions. What can I say? I just can't help doing my own impressions now. I don't know. Maybe hoping he'll come back one of these days. Yeah. I can wait. Yeah. Well, that was my review and all that stuff. Yeah.